I'm looking at targeting welcome and happy new month. First of all, uh, I'll would like to fasten it up, and though it's 100 days, but we need to make it a little bit faster, and we're going to find a way to at least get to, let's say, almost getting to 70% of the course by month end. Because by the time we start applications proper, and tonight I might likely show you a practical example of what we have done, what I'm doing at work when you are trying to use the Python code itself to run certain tasks for a client. This particular client that I'm going to show you is based in the US, and he told us to he gave us certain data files, and right now I'm looking at, first of all, I told you I was working on a project, and the project was to scrape certain information from different sites and putting it in a particular Excel file. So right now, what I'm doing right now is just trying to like work on the data set again, try to use certain Python code to clean it up and also convert a particular kind of cell, particular kind of column to a certain language. Like, for example, the client here needed, let's say, he needed English language. So we're right now, I'm going to show you something. I'll be sharing my screen as well to show you what we can actually be doing. So when you get there, and it's not that complicated as we think. So looking at something like this, this is a Python kind of code. This is a file. This is a Excel file. If you look at the number of data that we have here, it's 845,994. And what the client is looking for right now is for this particular step, the very first step he wanted us to do is to change all this particular column that is the title to English. So what did I do? I had to go to back to I used Colab for this project. And what did I do? I needed to change all these things. All the things. It's not that everyone is in English. Most of them are in what they call it, other languages as well. So we try to find a way to convert all the language to detect each of them. If it is German, if it is Russia, we had to find a way to change all of them to English. So we ran it. Currently, I'm working on this particular column. Next would be to locate certain data and remove them from this particular Excel file. Here I'm using Python. So let me show you something. Where's my collab? Where's my collab? So let's look at, I'm practically running another one right now. So what I did was to practically install what they call a pip install Google Trans. And when I did that, what did I do? I import pandas as PD. I looked at a particular example here, and I wanted to translate a particular word. This was Bomdia, and that I wanted to print the source. Where is the language coming from? And the destination we want it to be in English, and the origin of it, and the text itself. So you can see at the end, the end product here was uh, PT, meaning is a Portuguese language, and the destination is EN. And what does it mean? It is what good morning. And the source of it was the beginning of the word we wanted was Bomdia. We saw Bomdia, and the origin is what you can see. We use the formatted the F strings here, and it gave us what good morning. So I practically use that sense in this particular Excel file. I read the Excel file. I look at the link of what that particular Excel file, and I started working on it. And you can see I did delcam. I defined a variable delcam equals to pd.read underscore Excel. After that, I ran a Python called delcam.head. It means that to print the first five uh, elements in each of the words in columns, you can see it started with item, title, price, category, image, URL, image, name, and the rest. It's only printing 5 rows and 27 columns. It had 27 columns, but it only take the five. It prints the 5 row. That's dot head. What I did was I copied it. I copied the data file and I drop certain things, and don't worry, you'll be able to understand. So this is where right now I'm currently translating it again. So far, I have been able to translate 801,789. So we are still moving ahead, and I'm almost done. And it took about so many hours today to do that. So look at something like you can actually be doing so far as a data scientist, or you're going to analyze data as well. So this is a practical use case. And so let's go back to the what we have for today. And so far, we'll be looking at we've looked at strings, and we started yesterday that string is a sequence. String is always is known as a sequence. Why is it a sequence? Because it makes use of the index as a indexing. What do we mean by indexing? It means that it's a way of locating a particular kind of character, particular kind of element in a data type called string. For example, A, we all told you that the index starts from 0. So A here is 0, P here is 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's what we did yesterday. We looked at the len function. What does len do? Is try to tell you how many data, what are the number of elements in a particular kind of in a particular kind of variable, and you saw what we gave us. It gave us 5. Means that the elements in this particular, in the length of this apple here is what, 5. We looked at index. You have to compare index and length itself, and so on and so forth. So tonight we looked at slicing as well. I think we looked at slicing, and I said that slicing is a part of a particular sequence, which we did that the first one is always what I hope you guys went through the YouTube videos. All these are recorded on the YouTube, and I shared it earlier on before this particular class. So tonight we'll be going straight to another concept on strings, and it's going to be negative indexing. Negative index. How can we know of? Please mute yourself. Mute yourself wherever you are. Mute yourself. So right now we're going to look at indexing. In negative index. We said that the normal index that we know is always starting from what, 0, 1, 2, 3 to the end. That's from left to right. But in this particular kind of negative index, it's always starting from the what? It's starting from the right and going to the what? The left. The right going to the what? The left. So by the time it does this, there's a way we can actually indicate that it is a negative index. So negative index from left to right. That one is a normal one, I said, and the other one is starts. The other one starts from 0. That's the normal index. But the negative index is otherwise known as the reverse index, the negative index, and it starts from -1. So we're going to use a practical example. Remember, we defined a variable here, and we said numbers equals to. We gave it a string. Remember, I told you that a string is always in a quote, double or single quote. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're still going to use this one to find a way to indicate the negative indexing. So if you want to get the last element in this particular string character of numbers here, you can decide to say, okay, you can decide to say numbers, which we have defined already. Someone should ask me, where is numbers coming from? We have defined already in the code. So if you want to get the last element, which is 9, we're going to say minus what? 1. By the time we do that and we run the shift enter, you can see definitely that the answer will give us what? 9. But that of a normal index here, if we wanted to use a normal index, it could have definitely been what? It could have been numbers. Using a normal indexing, it could have been numbers, square bracket, and it's going to be what? 8. Because we're starting from what? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 till we get to what? 9, and that index is what? 8. And if we run this now, we can see that it will give us what? 9. So the next one we're going to look at it. Let me try and get a rule for you. And by the time I use a particular kind of rule, I would like to make it a practical example as well. So let's define a variable, and let's define a variable s is equals to, let's say, Python. Let's just say Python that we know. So by the time we use Python here, let me make it a capital letter. I'm trying to respect Python because I think Python has really helped me a lot. So I'm trying as much as possible to respect that particular language. So by the time we call it out S is going to give us Python. Now let's see the rules of negative indexing or reverse indexing. So the rule is going from start to end. That's in the particular one of our normal, it starts from what I told you, it starts with 0. But going from end to this particular negative slicing, going from end to start, that's right to left, index starts at -1, which you have seen already. And let me just try to work with it, and let's start doing some things with it. So let's compare. So if you want to get the n in Python here for a normal I want to slice it, or indexing for a normal indexing for n, what will it be? I also want to just try and get it. What will it be? What do you think is going to be? What do you think is going? I need you to see your answers in the chat box. If it's a normal indexing and you want to get n in Python that we have defined as a string, what is it going to be? How are we going to define it? Please, I need some answers in the chat box, in the chat room. Someone is typing. Someone should start typing. Anybody? Yes. Okay. Good. Someone is saying S square bracket 5. Wonderful. Happy New Month, Mr. Funso and Mr. Funso Adekule, and Happy New Month to everyone as well. So, if you want to get the normal index for string, it's going to be S square bracket 5. But that of an index, a negative index, is going to be what? S minus square bracket minus what? 1. So it's just more of like a practical, a foundational kind of course. You're like starting, like as if you're starting all over again, but this time around, we are taking it step by step, and we're going to see it practically as well in the next projects that we're going to build after this particular strings. So if you run this, you can see if you run this, it gets us a tuple. Remember, I told you that a tuple is always it comes with elements inside a normal bracket, which is you can see the one for normal indexing, which is 5, and the other one is -5. So we can also do the same thing, and let's see. Someone can actually try it out for capital P for the normal and the normal index. Let's get the first letter for the normal and the negative index. Please just try. I need some people to try and answer. We have done that for. Okay. We have done that for n. Let's do that for the first letter, which is P. Please, I need like at least 2 persons to drop the answer here. What is the slicing that we're going, the negative indexing, and the normal indexing for the first letter? What are we going to do? Please type it there. Okay, Lower Tosin has said S square bracket 0, comma S square bracket -6. I'm not sure of this. I want to confirm from other people. Is there anybody that wants to agree with Mr. Tosin? Is there anybody that wants to agree with Mr. Tosin? I said agreed, or there's something different that you're trying to say. Please, guys, let's take part in the class. If you understand what is going on, please type in some things or try to say 1 or 2 things that you agree. Mr. Tosin has dropped a certain code. Please, let's take part in the class. It's very, very important. And okay. All right, Mr. Mark, your hand is up. Okay, I agree. Yeah. I agree.
Please, can you repeat the question?
Okay, the question is actually trying to tell you that you should find the very first letter, which is P. How can we use the normal index and the negative index to locate the value, the element P? And some persons have agreed. Okay, I think at some point I don't know what happened. I think I was locked out immediately. I don't know what happened, but I hope you can hear me. Please confirm you can hear me. Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me continue sharing my screen. So sorry, at some point I would like to, I'm running a project at hand. That's why I'm still at the office. I'm just trying to make things. So at some point I'll be going to look at my project and see what to do with it. So at this particular point, I would like to look at it and see what I've done so far. So I think, okay, sorry guys, sorry, I need to just check it up. It's very, very important that I finish it up at some point. So those of you that have explained the projects to, I'm just trying to get things done here, and let me see what I have as length here so far. So I have, okay, so I think I have everything set now. 845993, and the listing I have here is 84, and so I think we are done. We're completed for this, and right now, if you look at this particular code I'm doing here, though it might seem different, but what I did was to define another variable here. Df is equals to, I imported the pandas data frame. The panda is a kind of a tool that we use to work with a data set. So what I did was pd.dataframe is an install kind of pre-loaded kind of a function. So I'm going to translate this particular list, and I'm going to make it to change to an Excel file. So that's what I want to do right now. Let me see. Though it might take time, let me just say, let me rename it to full list. Full list. So I can decide to use it as full list, and I'll run it again. Okay. So I think very soon it's going to show here. Very soon it's going to show here as it's loading. So guys, this is more of a practical case here. Let's go back to our code. Sorry about the. I'm just trying to monitor the so as I finish the class, I can just go home at once. Tomorrow is Saturday. Okay. So what you're going to continue with our, okay. So if you want to get the fourth index, you can see that it's always what if you want to get O, we know that it's going to be S4, and it's going to be what, comma S what the negative index will be what, -2, because this particular O, N is -1, O will definitely be -2 as a negative index. So this will be minus what, 2. So if you run this now, you can see that it's going to give you what, O, and it's going to give you what you want to do. So now the next thing I'm going to do right now, I'm going to look at something. I'm just trying to look at the hints. So if I want to give you a particular hint, I would like to say something. The sum of absolute values of a normal index and negative index is length of a sequence. That means I'm going to show you a practical example as well. So if you want to, let's say the negative index, remember when we did, for example, let's use -3 and the normal this thing. You can see that the length of this particular, without me running it for you to see, I can decide to run it, but I believe that you understand the concept of len. Len is to check the number of elements in a particular maybe variable. For example, let me just use len of s, which I've defined as to be Python. If you run it now, we can see that it's going to give us 6. Now, what I'm trying to say that the sum of absolute values, when I say absolute values in mathematics, it means that the negative sign does not matter. So when I tell you the absolute value of a normal index and a negative index is the length of a sequence. So you can see now that if you want to add the sum of 4 and -1 here and -2 here, since it's an absolute value, it means that this minus does not come in here, and it means that if you add this 4 plus 2, it's going to give it the length, which is already, we have set it as to be what, 6. The same thing with 5 and -1. And also, let me look at your charts here at some point. You can see some put it 0 and -6. You can see if you look at the absolute value, is going to do what? Is going to give you the length of the particular the sequence in which you have defined. In this case, we are using S, which we define it to be equals to what? Python. So that was I was just trying to make sure that you get it done. So in a practical way, for negative index, you write the sequence at the beginning of the original one, then you start from 0 for original one, then -1 and so on for a copy. I'm going to show you in a practical. I think I like my things practically. So let's define a text. Let me define a text. It might seem complex, but once I start working on it in a practical way, you'll be able. So let me define a text and put it as what? Let me use NumPy that I've just been using so far in my data science. So if I define a text, I call it NumPy, and I run it, and I decide to say, okay, how do I make it? How do I make it work for us? So can just say in a practical way. So text is goes to what? The length. I'm just going to put in the length. I'm going to say the length, and which is len. And what am I checking? The length of the what? The text itself. And after the text, which is going to be what? To get the last index, and we're going to say, okay, let's see how we're going to do it. So minus what? 1. So by the time we do this, what is we going to have? I believe someone could actually come up with something. What do you think is going to be? What do you think the outcome of this particular code would be, looking at what you have learned so far when it comes to learn and stuff? So look at this code that we did here. Text is equals to NumPy. Then we now call that text, and we want to find out something. So what we are looking at is length, which is already is going to be something here, the length of this thing. So any value that we have here minus this is going to give us. So what do you think will be the outcome of this particular line of code without me saying anything? Someone is the last letter of NumPy. Very good. Some Mr. Funso said Y. Mr. David said the last number of NumPy. Good. And Mr. Tosin said 4, the index of the last number. Okay. So let's run it and see what we'll have. Very good. I like the fact that you guys are trying out something. So it gives us what? Why? Because at this particular point, it's simply something like this is what happened. This is text. It's simply, I could have just said something like this 4. Because why is it so? Because the length of text here is 5. But once it's 5, we are subtracting minus 1 to it. So minus 5 minus 1 is going to give us 4. And the 4 here is the index of what? Y. Is the index of what? Y. Looking at the normal indexing, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that is a very practical example. Now, the next thing we're going to look at right now in tonight's class is what we have looked at the normal slicing that we did before the last class. Please, if you have not watched the video of the last class, please, it's very, very important that you do for you to understand the string slicing. The last class, we did the string slicing. Now we want to do the reverse slicing. How can we reverse slice? That means we are going to start from what? We are going to start from the right side, from the last value, the last element of the particular kind of what? Of the particular kind of string. So please, if you have not watched that video after this class, it may seem complex to you right now, but once you go through their videos, if you have any question, always find a way to ask me. I'm always available as as for you, and every part of me, I'm always available. So let me please, guys, let me just go back to my code and see how it is going. Okay, I think something is definitely wrong. I'm supposed to have showed something here. Okay, let me check something here. Okay, supposed to be a list here for me. Last thing was at 9. So let me check it, guys. Please just the here, translating it again. Okay, supposed to run at some point. So I really need this to run at some point. So okay, I think, guys, you can see it coming up translated list underscore full list. But this is an Excel file which I'm creating it now. So okay, let me go back. I think before the end of this class, it should be ready, and I should be able to download. Maybe once it's done, I will just come and download it as well. I really need to be home. Okay. So the next thing we're going to look at is, please, at any point, if you don't understand, raise up your hand and let me know how far, because it's very, very important that you understand what is going on here. It's very, very important. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is reverse slicing. Reverse slicing is slicing the sequence from the end to start. That's from right to left. We use reverse index or negative step size. So now the rules of, remember I did the one for string slicing, the rules. I said that in reverse slicing, the sequence is going to, the very first thing that will come up in the sequence for reverse slicing is the end number you want to use. After that is the what? Is the start. Where do you want to start? And after that is the what? Step. And it's always what? Minus, if you want to get it in a reverse kind of way. That means taking it what? Backwards. From end to start, the last index is always what? Minus 1. So we're still going to use numbers. We're still going to define the numbers. We can still use it number. So we just put it as a string, just say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. By the time we use this and we decide to, can decide to print the numbers as well, but it's not really important at some point. Let's just understand what we are trying to do. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 till 9 has come out. So if you want to print the numbers, you can just decide to use, let me show you something. Just decide to print the numbers as a copy. Remember what we did? No stress in the last class. So I'm just repeating myself. So this is the very first column, and this is the second column. So if you run this, it's going to give us the number itself, like a copy. We can decide to put this thing in a copy and copy this particular string sequence. Now, the next thing I want us to do is let's start the main reverse slicing itself. So let's print numbers from end to start in a reverse order. Let's print the numbers and we shall define from end to start just in a reverse order for now. So we're going to do numbers in square brackets, and we're going to put the first column, which was supposed to be the end where we're going to end. So as far as I've not put any number here, it's going to take the whole of the sequence. And the next one I'm supposed to put this where I'm starting from. Since I'm not putting any value, it's going to start from the very beginning of that particular string sequence. So I decide not to put anything there. I still put colon. And now this is when it becomes interesting. I want to do it in a reverse order. So instead of putting normally, I'm supposed to use a normal step size of 1, but I'm going to use minus what? 1. By the time I run this, it's going to give me what? 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, because it is coming from what? The right to the what? Left. So that is a practical example, and that's how it goes for reverse slicing. So what if you want to make it want to make it an increment of 2? Remember when we did how we printed odd numbers and even numbers in the last class? How do we want, if you wanted to print in a normal indexing, wanted to print only odd numbers here, and we're looking at the numbers itself, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So what are we going to do? I'm just repeating myself again. Numbers is what we're going to do. Definitely the next one is going to be what? Now, the step size is going to be 2 if you want to get odd number, because the beginning number here, the index is what? 1. So that means if you are using the step size of 2, that means it's going to skip 2 and it's going to go to 3, it's going to skip 4 and it's going to go to 5. Okay, so if you do this, it's going to print only what? Odd numbers. But if you want to get the what? If you want to get it from the what? The step size to be from the back, the reverse order is simply going to be what? Numbers, and you're going to put a square bracket. Definitely, we are actually taking the whole list, so we don't want it to start from anywhere, just only want the step size. So if we do minus 2, it's going to give us what? It's going to start from the rear, the back, 9, 7, 5, 3, 1, something that is actually very, very simple. So now I can decide to go into the slicing proper and try to put in certain things. What if we want to get 4, 5, 6? What should we do? What if we want to get 4, 5, 6? What should we do? That's in the normal indexing, like I want to compare two things right now. How can we get 4, 5, 6 using what? Now, let me just try and put the question proper. How can I get 456 using the normal indexing? And how can I also get 456 using the using the normal slicing? And how can I get 456 using the reverse slicing? Please, I would like you to try out some things. How can I get 456 from what? The normal slicing, and how can I get 456 in the reverse slicing? Let me see what you guys can come up with. How can we get it? How can we make it happen? Is anybody that wants to try? You can unmute yourself and say something, or you can decide to type it out there. How can we get, okay? Someone is saying numbers 3. Okay, okay, let's try this out. Dr. David has given us something. That is for normal. Okay, he says for normal. So let me try and see what it will give. So I'm copying that. So let's see. Let me go to this thing and check if it's true. So let's put it here. Number. So let's run it. I said 456. So let's run it. You can see it's saying 456. So it continues to 789. So it means that it is starting from the index of 3, which is definitely 4. But you are saying that it should start from there and go to the end of the string sequence, which is we want it to stop at a particular word, at a particular number, which is 6. So what should we do? Okay, let's try what Mr. Tosin has said. 4 numbers equals to, okay, let's see. I'm copying it right now and I'm going to the code and I'm adding it here. Let's see what you have. So let's see. Okay, Mr. Tosin, you have only 4 and 5. There's no 6 in it. I think Mr. Tosin, were you in the last class? I think this was the issue of the last class, because remember when we said that the last value, when it comes to the step size, so when it comes to the end of it, what are we going to come up with? The other one doesn't. It takes a step, just like the range function that we did. It's going to do what? It's going to, if it's 100, if you wanted to print from 10 to 100 numbers, you're going to use the last value is going to be 101. Same thing here with the particular slicing. So let me use what Mr. Funso had just dropped. So you can see now we have 4, 5, 6, 7, which is not what we want to use. So, okay, good. I can see, yes, now Dr. David has corrected himself. Mr. Tosin has also corrected himself for the normal method. So 3 is to this thing is 6 is actually what? Is actually nice, is actually correct. So now let's do for 4, 5, 6 using the reverse slicing. Please, everybody should try it. Everybody should try it. Now, if you have gotten 3:6, it means you are correct. Everything is correct. I accept to that it is correct. Now, let's do for negative slicing or reverse slicing. How can we get 4, 5, 6 using negative slicing? Please, everybody should try it out. Mr. Mark, Mr. Vic, Mr. Fonobon, Mr. Funso, Dr. Pemi, Dr. David, Mr. Emedion, Mr. Tosin, Mr. Dr. Solomon, and Mr. Emmanuel. Please, let's try. Put something in the chat box. Try something out. How can we use the negative slicing to get 4, 5, 6? Mr. Tosin has dropped something. So I'm just going to be copying and I'll be doing this thing inside live and direct to see what you are doing. So let's see if it's going to work. So this is a syntax error, Mr. Tosin. Your code through is, maybe I wanted to put, let me put column here. Maybe I wanted to put column, we made a mistake. So let's see if it's going to give us 4, 5, 6. Okay, numbers, you use number instead of numbers. So I'm going to change that for you. Let me still run it for you and see how far. So you can see right now it is giving you only, it's giving you nothing here. It's giving you an empty string. Something is definitely wrong. Check it out. Please, guys, let's try it out. Let's try something out. This is hands-on practical course. Let's try something out. I'm testing your code. Immediately you drop in the chat box, I am testing it immediately. Please, everybody should put in effort. Let's use the reverse slicing. Remember that I said that it starts from the right to the end, to the beginning, and we are using what the it starts with minus sign. So let's see what you're going to come up with. Please try out something. Try out something. Mr. Victor, please try out something. It's negative is it's just as if we are beginning Python learning from the beginning. We are looking at the data type called strings. And okay, Dr. Solomon has dropped something, so I'm going to copy it immediately. I'm sending it to the cell. So Dr. Solomon's code is going to be running right now. So you can see, I can see an empty string right now. It's an empty string as well. So it's not definitely not giving us answer. You guys are, so something that is, you're almost getting it. Remember when I said something, let me go back to the slicing itself, the rule of the slicing. I would like to tell you something that it starts for what, when you're doing a negative reverse slicing, the first number you're going to put there in the very first step is the n number you want to use. Which number do you want to use as the n? Which number, the n? After that is the start. After that is the step. So let's see what you have. Let's see. Okay, I can see. Okay, I can see. Okay, let's see what you guys are doing. Okay, let me try. I'm going to start with Mr. Fuso. I think that's the same thing with Dr. Solomon ran. Let me try Ahmed Young Namkres when I'm copying our code right now. And let's see what we are going to have. So let's see, guys. Let's see. So shift enter, and our code gave us 4, 5, 6. Fantastic. That one ran. And but there's something that is we're still supposed to have gotten. So I'm seeing some codes here. I'm seeing people trying out some things. Okay, someone said I agree. Let's try it out. Let's try it out. Let's try Dr. Let's try Mr. Tosin's code. He saying someone is agreeing. Some people are agreeing with this Mr. Tosin code. So let's go straight and let's see. I think so far Emedion has gotten 4, 5, 6, but I believe this code could have. No, please add the step size to it. Let me see what you come up with. Add the step size to it. Make sure you add the step size. Let me see what you come up with. So this is, yes, you almost got it, but your code is giving 654, which is not what we want. We want 456, 456, using negative slicing, Though one of it will definitely want the step size. Let me give you a hint. The step size will not be -1. It will definitely be normal 1. Okay, but it just put the step size for me. Let me see. Let me see what you come up with. Guys, thank you for trying. So, okay. So what the thing could have been here could have been simply what Medium did here. It's just for us to add a step size of what? Of 1. Normally, if you don't add a step size, it's going to automatically show a default of what? 1. That is for the normal slicing, but we are combining normal and negative indexing here. So now, there's something Mr. Tosin has just done now, and it's really amazing. And also Dr. David tried that as well, and the rest people also tried. Is now let's get, instead of getting 4, 5, 6, let's get 6, 5, 4. Let's get 6, 5, 4. But Mr. Tosin did 5 to this thing. Now I want you to use all true should be negative numbers. Let's get 6, 5, 4 right now. 654 using only negative numbers. This one is purely reverse slicing. How can we get how can we get 654? Practically using negative numbers. How can we get 654 using negative numbers? 654 using negative numbers. Slicing itself. Remember when I told you that the very first thing you have to do is the end. Where do you want to end? Where do you want to end the number, the end, the start, and the step size, which is always -1. So this is a practical case of reverse slicing. Anybody that can get that 654, let's see. Anybody, put it in the chat box, I'm waiting, I'm just going to give 30 seconds. Let me see what you're going to have. 654 using the negative numbers only. Anybody? Can anybody hear me at all? Okay. Please, can you guys hear me? Hello? Are you serious? Hello?
Yes, I can hear
We
you.
can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay. Thank God. I was thinking maybe all these things you have said, you guys cannot hear me. Okay, can I just try out something? How can we get 654 from this number that we have defined already? 654 using the reverse slicing. Reverse slicing will help you a lot, especially when it comes to dealing with data. If those of you that are going to data science and the rest, you really need negative slicing or reverse slicing. It will help you a whole lot. Please, let's see what you can come up with. Anybody, I'm just going to give 1 minute. Anybody that wants to try it out, let's see. Let me go check my code on what I'm doing so far. So I can decide to, let me download it into my, let me download it. So before the end, we should see how it goes. Okay. So anybody, let me go to the code. Let's see what someone has come up with. Okay. This is super amazing. I'm seeing some people trying out something good. -6 is to minus, very good. I'm going to be copying the code. Let me wait for some persons to finish typing. So I'll just copy all at once and try it out, and let's see who got it correctly. Okay. Okay. Someone is saying not sure. Okay. Nevertheless, we are going to be sure here. So is that all? Let's see. Let's try it out. Is that all? Anybody that wants to try it out again? Okay. At this point, I would like to start with Mr. Tosin's own. So I'm copying it right now. So if I get to the code and let's see what you come up with. I add a new cell. By the time I add a new cell and I paste it here, and let's see what we have. So we have an empty string. It's not showing anything. So that's definitely not working. So let's try Dr. David's own right now. Let's try Dr. David's own and let's see what you have. So if we try Dr. David's own and let's see. So do this and run this.
Yeah. Hello,
So,
Sekemini.
yes.
I'm having 642.
Okay, I don't worry. I'm going to come to you. So right now I can see there's an answer here already. I'm seeing 654 here. 654. I don't know if Dr. David can share his screen and tell us how he managed to get this correctly and what were the steps he took. Mr. Dr. David, do you mind sharing your screen to tell us how you got it? Or I should explain it? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I think I can share my screen. I guess.
Okay, I'll stop my screen sharing and I'll allow you to, as is here, to just tell us what you did. Okay.
Okay.
So share your screen. Let's see what you have for us, guys. Please pay
So
attention to.
I don't know if you guys are seeing my code because I think it's only sharing the code right now.
Yes, I think I can see your code right now.
Is everybody seeing?
Please confirm that you can see it, please, guys. Me, I can see you. I don't know.
Yes, can see it.
Okay, so the step I took, since it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So since we are going in the reverse, I was trying to first of all localize the 6, like saying it is the starting point. So I went counting reversely 1, 2, 3, 4. So I knew this is -4, and I wrote it there. And then I tried to also find where, because it's 654, where the 4 ends. And I just counted continuously from here. I knew that I was at 4, 5, 6, 7. So I took
Dr. David, when
negative.
Dr. David, when you're saying something like 5, say minus, so they'll know that you're actually is using -1, -2.
Okay. And I was saying I was going reversely, and I know reversely is minus.
Yes.
So anyway, okay, I started like -1. That is
Yes.
my 9 was my -1, and then 8 -2, and then 7 -3, and the 6 -4. And we know already that in Python, the last number is always taken into consideration. And since we are going into reverse, I took -4 as my beginning so that the 6 should appear. And then continuing to try to see the range, like we said 6, 5, 4. So we want 4. I continue going down from negative, yes, like -5, -6. And why am I taking -7? I took -7 because now, since we are going in the reverse, the last number that it will take is the number, I don't know if I have to say before or after, because now talking about reverse is kind of
yes, it's kind of
yes,
okay.
kind of confusing. But from the concept that we had yesterday in yesterday's class, it was like the first number always comes easily, and the last number we take a gap. So that is just how I thought about it. And then I added the negative one to allow for the rest not to come inside. So that is just how I try to understand it, and it came out that it is okay.
Okay, all right, no problem.
So
Thank you very much for sharing.
I explained.
Don't worry.
Yes.
Yeah, you did well. I'll try to throw more light on it as well, so that.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for trying, and God bless you. All right, so I believe you can see my screen right now. So what Dr. David is saying right now is, let's go to the numbers itself and see. You can see right now that this 9 is taking the value of -1, 8 -2, until we get to what? We wanted 654. So this is a starting, which is what? 6, which is -1, -2, -3, -4. The starting is minus what? 4. So what we want is 654. And if this is 654, it means that this particular one, which is what? -4, this is -5, and this is -6. So if this is -6, if we use -6 here, it's going to give you the value for what? 5 here, which is not what we want. Remember when we said that when it comes to indexing, like when it comes to slicing, like you are now going to go straight to the other one so that this particular one will be taken. So if we are doing this particular, it's going to be what? -7, just for the value of what? Of 4 to come out. If we're looking for, we wanted 6543. We wanted 6543. We will not stop at the index of this 3. We're going to look for what? We are going to end at the index of what? Of this particular 2, which is -1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You could have stopped at minus what? 8, just to make sure that 3 comes out, and which 2 will be excluded. So that's what happened. And now the step size is, if you had added 1 to this step size, it could have been going in a positive direction, then it could have been going forward. Anything that you have done could have been going forward. But because you want it to be you want it to be reversed, we're going to do it what? -1. It means it is going from right to what? Left. That's why this particular thing worked for Dr. David at some point. If you don't understand, please you can always reach out to me and tell me. I can actually host a short meeting for you and just say this is how it is done. Okay, I believe at this particular point, if there are any questions, please let me know. And if there are any questions, please let me know. I would have loved to continue the class. I could have liked to say the concept of strings are immutable. When they say that strings are immutable, what does it mean? It means it's what? You cannot change any part of a string. You can only reassign, but cannot mutate. But coding has actually made us to understand that there is nothing that is not possible. So you can actually do certain things. We actually try to break it apart, slice it into 2, then concatenate it at some point, and which we are going to see as we go on and as we proceed in the class. So I believe at this particular point, if you are lost, please let me know. If you want me to recap on some concept after going through the videos, the YouTube videos, if you do not understand, please always let me know. It is very important that you carry on with this course. We had about 33 of us that started this course. right now I can tell you that we have just 17 of us, and which I'm still throwing some exercise. I'm still trying to remember and remind some persons that we still have assignments to submit. And if you submit the assignment and your attendance has been wonderful, definitely join in this particular stage. And every stage of our competition, always try as much as possible to make as if we are starting from the very beginning. There will be a time I will know I will not take anybody again, because I know at this particular point you are good to go to advance to another stage. So this is the basic stage we are still in. Dr. David, your hand is raised. You have the floor.
Yeah, my hand is raised. I was just waiting for you to end and then try to ask for my questions. I have like 2 questions which are not maybe of the class of today. That's why I was waiting for you to end.
Okay, definitely. You can always find a way to drop me a message. I will definitely reply to you. Sure, that one is very short. It's a short thing. Okay. All right. So any other questions, any other observation? Is there anything we can do better? Anything that we can do?
My only observation actually was one of my questions. It's just that people should follow the YouTube, what is posted.
Yes,
it's
exactly.
very important. I've been noticing that there are no likes. No one is liking, no one is checking it out. Even if we have, anyway, for me, I had a problem.
Yeah.
I have a problem for attending class, so I always get back to the YouTube. But even if you attended the class, it's always good to go to the YouTube, type in something, make a comment, write it, make it to be shared. And it's also good for your visibility, for the visibility of Adrian, because tomorrow you don't know. Someone might be searching for a programmer and a particular concept, and he falls on this and just see the names and start checking out for each of us. So it's very important for us to kind of help Adrian to grow also by commenting, liking, sharing. Very
yes, as well. Thank you very much. Thank you very. And one of the very first thing what landed me a tech job, when first a tech job I did, was what I was posting online. Exactly. I was just going to posting things I did. Or if you go to my GitHub, I have a lot of projects that I've done, machine learning project that I've done, data science things that I've done. When the person wanted to hire me, was like, you have done this project before. What did you do at this particular line of code? When I explained the code to the person, it was like, wow, I need you to be on my team. And that was it. I started working on projects, paid projects, and I was like, it's an amazing, and someone like you, if you know me very well, I'm not coming from the computer science background. Like, I did not study computer science in the university. What I studied is very different, though we did some courses that were related to mathematics in maybe 200 or first level, but at least that really helped me a lot to at least post your work, make people see that you're actually doing some things, and you can never know who will call you and say, let's work together on a project. So try as much as possible. Also improve, what do you call it? Try to share the videos on Advion, comments, like you guys are the ones that we are embarking on. Just do some things. Some of you are even into marketing, do some things about it, and let's see how we can actually grow. And also keep practicing, keep learning, keep growing. It's practice. Coding, one of the reasons why it's making it wonderful for people to run away from, because they feel it's normal course. You need to practice it every day. Even my boss here at work, sometimes we look at, like, it seems I don't know anything, but it's a very bad house program. It knows programming very well. But sometimes it's like, I've not done this thing in a very long. It looks so new to me. What should I do? It has to go back and revise. And coding is very, what they call it, dynamic. What is happening today might not work tomorrow for you. It may be someone, you have been programming 10 lines of code. Someone will just come with just 2 lines and it will do the same thing for the person. So you just have to it's a constant practice at all time, and you have to put in the work. That is it, put in the work. Don't miss classes. If you try to miss classes, miss it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you are going to drop out. And I'm very happy that you guys are still in this state. Let's see who gets it to the finals, and let's see how we can make it up. There are always companies approaching me. Do you have anybody you can recommend? I think in the last cohort, I tried to, was this particular company that contacted me, Code Cam. They met me and said, do you have anybody I could actually recommend for a job? is the person must be based in PH, to be in Abuja. They were looking for Abuja and Lagos. It's like, so that's certain thing. If I feel that you're good enough, I can always say, yes, please, this person is very good and can actually make it to that team. So that's it, guys. At this particular point, it is almost 9:30. And let's see. Remember that we are learning every day. Someone like me, I'm also learning constantly every day. Because they think the end thing is to, as a Nigerian living in the UK, this is what this kind of stuff. So we're still growing and we're still learning every single day. All right, without wasting much of our time, let's call it a night tonight.